turned the whole house into a booth. We in the kitchen. Let her cook.
Let her cook. Hey, what's up, you guys? I was just sitting here looking at this. I bought this cute, like, little vinyl sticker to go on my laptop. I was just, when you be shopping for stuff and you put extra in your cart. Ooh, I can't be cussing too early. My bad, YouTube. Hopefully I'll be able to bleep that out. But yeah, when you have just extra stuff you put on the car, I thought it was super cute. I'm gonna give you another one that has it'll have, like, she can buy her own flowers, but the flowers are like little green, weed flowers. So I thought that was super cute. So I'll get that one and stick it with this one on my laptop. So yeah, but I'm back at it, you guys. Want to come and talk to you. I'm feeling a little bit better. For those of you who don't recall, y'all know that I got to go to the doctor, and I will be finding out soon if I have endometriosis. So y'all just, put prayers up for me. I was kind of, bent over for the last couple of days, but I feel better, and we're gonna have to play catch up and talk about love and marriage Huntsville, okay? Now the Huntsville people is starting to get all up in little Tricia and Ken's business, and we might have got a little bit of resolve at the end of the episode. But Miss Tricia, okay, Miss Tricia, we gonna have to pull you to the carpet on some of the things that you and Ken ain't being necessarily real truthful on, okay? Like, I ride with you for majority of the way when it comes to you and Marquez, but you and Ken definitely, y'all hands ain't completely cleaned, okay? So hopefully you guys, this doesn't sound super weird. I'm recording with a mic. I haven't really been recording with my mic super often because the last time it just wasn't charging. But now hopefully it's good. I see the green light on there, and so hopefully the audio sounds a lot better because I want to start using mics more in my video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all know what to do. Make sure to hit that like button, okay? Come in. Let me know, that you are here present. Make sure you hit that like button. I'ma pause. Okay. By now that button should be picked, okay? We ain't worried. We ain't like Apple over here. You ain't gonna hit the like button and find out that $9.99 slipped out your bank account, okay? All right, so we not Apple over here. Everything is free. So like button is free, subscribe button is free, okay? But let's go ahead and get into this review. So we open up where you left off, which is basically the ladies, the final day of their trip. And they are, sitting down for an all-white, ending dinner. We'll just put it that way. So Mel has like these fire, breathers, fire party things. And I could just hear Mel on the background. Wow. I don't know why, just in my mind, I was like, she really trying to sell this trip, like, the Millie Cherie way. But also, at the end of the day, it was obviously a great performance, but I don't know, maybe it was just me just picking up on that, like, the extra sounds of it all. Mel stood up clapping and everything. She was gonna let everybody know, but y'all made this trip, okay? And I planned it, hopefully to everybody's liking. And so essentially that's where everything kind of rolled off to, because Mel was like, so ladies, how do you feel about the trip and everything like that? And Kimmy, we're gonna talk about you in a second. When we get to you and what's your husband's name? Maurice. Kimmy, I just be so disappointing in you sometimes. And it really hurts my feelings. It really do. But when Melody was sitting there talking about, like, oh, the trip, how do you ladies feel about it? I thought it was a good trip, even though we, but it had sometimes, like, we still found a way to have fun. And that's what Kimmy said. Kimmy was like, yeah, like, I really just have to say that, I'm quite surprised. Like, I usually don't do girl trips, because, being around a whole lot of women, I'm just real, anxious about that. But I really feel like you did such a good job putting this trip together. And, Tisha, gave her 2 shades. She thought so too. And, everybody's like, yeah, Melody, they were clapping and stuff. But when I tell you, Destiny's face was giving every bit of.
Yes.
And Melody clocked it. She was like, Destiny, you don't think so? And Destiny was like, She was like, well, I was just asking because, everybody else was clapping and you were just kind of looking. And she was like, well, I ain't got to do what everybody else do. And a part of me, like, of course, our confessional, she was like, oh my God, this, everybody just kissing Melody's ass. Like, it don't make no sense. Like, yeah, it was a good trip. But also it was like, Destiny, I mean, it wouldn't hurt you just to, like, was it just supposed to be like, oh, everybody was just kissing Melody's ass? No. But at the end of the day, like, we can't appreciate the fact that of all the trips that y'all have been on, this has definitely been one of the nicer trips, and y'all been able to do stuff. And as she said, like, get over it. Like, it still was a pretty decent trip, in my opinion. But go ahead, Destiny. You still want to be in your mood, okay? But you go back and forth between wanting to kiss Melody's ass yourself because you sure was kicking Stormy out that seat to sit next to her. Don't forget, that was literally last episode. So now all of a sudden it's you want to sit next to Melody, but now you're in the confessional saying everybody's ass kissing. So which one is it, Destiny? You really do go back and forth of wanting to clearly like you feel like you seem like you want to mend things with Melody, but then also at the same time you want to do like little underhead, diggish type stuff. So I'm gonna need you to figure out which one you want to do, Destiny. But Melody was just like, oh, you don't think so? She was like, well, this trip, was a little hard for me because at the end of the day, the last part of it was, Nail, you asked Sunni about, the baby and everything. Like, you could imagine, like, that'd be tough for me to hear, just as a woman, and Mel, tried to pacify. Well, I don't think she did it on purpose. We were all just talking about babies and stuff like that. And Nell was like, I really didn't, mean nothing like that, Destiny. And so Destiny was like, Sunni, obviously you and I are in a good place and it's just going to be what it is. And I forgot how she brought it to basically like the relationship or whatever. And Sunni, that's when Sunni basically reiterated. She was like, yeah, look, Destiny, this trip, we still managed to, I still managed to at least be cordial with you. I, didn't start no mess with you. Like, we still were able to hang out with the ladies. And, I've already, acknowledged and apologized that, there was a betrayal there. And Destiny's like, well, it's interesting you say betrayal because you sure weren't trying to say it before. And Sunni, you another, like, you and Destiny clearly was friends of birds of a feather because you be flip-flopping too. In one moment, you want to say, oh, like, girl, me and you wasn't cool like that. And then all of a sudden, like, it's a betrayal. And then when you first came on the show, you told Kimmy you were struggling to sleep at night, and Kimmy asked a very valid question. But if you wasn't friends with her, you would be sleeping good. You would be, Mr. Sandman. But you're not, because Sunni, that especially the fact that we know that you managed Destiny, and when you acknowledge that you also were her manager at some point, it's okay, Destiny. Sunni, you decide to choose Dick over Destiny. That's okay. Like, you was like, Dick, Destiny. I'm gonna choose Dick. Okay, and that's okay. But unfortunately now, your Zeke, okay, is now inmate 777-049. Shout out to Rodney the voice. He is locked up. All right, so we'll maybe see how this goes forward in the future, because if there is another season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Sunni is gonna be on here, Destiny, and if you still gonna be having this, pissy ass attitude, you might not get invited back. All right, and it's giving you need to check. No shade, but it is what it is. So Destiny basically keeps going back and forth with her and that, like, okay, like, you are my friend, cool, got it. And at this point, Destiny, like, they're married, you're not gonna get the answer out of her that you really want, truthfully, honestly. You see that she's not going to admit to the fact that, y'all were pretty good friends, So it's just one of those things where it's kind of got to get left to die here at the table. So then after that, I think that was it. I feel like there was another conversation. No, Melody gave everybody white roses, and then at that point, everybody, goes home. And I'm trying to think if there was another conversation. I feel like there was for some reason. No, I guess that was it. So everybody goes home. Now we gotta, fill the husbands in. So Tisha, she's over there talking with Marceau, and she's explaining how, she kept getting into it with Melody's friend because she's like, this L kept calling me the ops. Like, and I'm trying to like, girl, chill out. Like, what do you mean you keep calling me the ops? And she was like, yeah, you need to watch her, And so she was just like, I'm feeling some type of way. And Marceau had me cackling. Well, he was like, Melody's friend, and he was like, the tall one, kind of big with big hair. And he was like, yeah, Tisha, leave that one alone. Because in the back of his mind, he was thinking, that's a big bitch, okay? What's her name? Shanice. Okay, it's given, how they like to say, the linebackers, okay? They low-key like the linebackers if you ask Coleslaw. Especially Maurice, okay? Who I think it was Maurice who she said had the linebacker going in his room, okay? But yeah, he made me laugh, but he was like, yeah, leave that one alone, Tisha. So then they get into, obviously, she starts filling him in on Tricia. And the fact that, Tricia, was now trying to fall back on her, saying that, yeah, she didn't go to Martell's, but then she really ended up did because she didn't want to make it bigger than what it was. This was clearly, y'all, one, I feel like Martell brought it up on purpose because he wanted to be able to just be messy. That's what Martell does. Like Marceau explained, he was like, I can see why Melody thought that because Martell, he'll say stupid shit like, oh, Law look just like me. Like he plays into the rumors because he's an asshole. He's got nothing else to do, Like he plays into the rumors to just be sarcastic and spiteful and just stir up mess in everybody else's domain because he ain't got his own domain situated. So it's like with him doing that stuff with Tricia, I really feel like he didn't notice it was her because, she got all, did up. She went to the gym, everything. She got in shape and all that type of stuff. So that's why I think he didn't recognize her. So then the moment where it was like, oh, like, I know who you are, Tricia, I think, took it as like, well, why are you trying to act like you don't know me? Like, but that's the thing. If you knew each other, like Tricia was so focused on trying to play defense when it came to Martell that you was supposed to play offense. Like I keep saying in every review, bitch, you let him get the drop on you, okay? If you ever mess with a nigga and he's sneaky link, don't you let that nigga get the drop on you, okay? You set the parameters of what it was. All it had to be was, man, you know me, like, I went to school with your brother. It done. Literally that end of, oh, I went to school with your brother. Oh, I ran this Martell at the gym. That's it. Oh my God, I still get pissed off about that. But you gotta let that nigga get the drop on you. Yeah, Tisha was basically explaining that to Marceau, and he basically was talking about how, well, all the guys got together and were trying to explain, to Ken, obviously, things is kind of looking a little dicey, and Martell is possibly saying that she went over there more than once. And he basically, like, I also don't like how Martell, like, he was trying to make it a thing about questioning his masculinity. I still don't like that. How he was like, well, I ain't gonna let, put my name out there like as a man gonna play with my name. I decide whether if I want to mess with a girl, like if she bad, I do. And if she ain't and I don't want to do nothing, then I don't. And it's like, it wasn't even about that. So basically, okay, yeah, Tricia, you said he invited you over to work out, which was i.e., Netflix and chill possibly. Yeah, I'm calling you over here to work out. But, you can work out in more ways than one. So that's what it was giving. But also at the same time, I think she was, entertaining Ken. And that's why Tricia was trying to like, roll back some of the info because, I think there was some overlappage between Martell and Ken, which is why Martell was doing that shit over there at the bowling alley. Because remember, he was being hella petty at the bowling alley, trying to also make it seem like some more stuff was going on. So that's why I just kind of like, I really wish Tricia had taken control of that, but she was just so, she runs anxious. Like she runs like like her energy just gives anxious energy. But yeah, so yeah, they were basically just talking about that. Marcel and Tisha, her daughter's getting so old now. And what else did they talk about? They talked about Tricia, Martell. Oh, and the fact that Destiny said that Melody basically was teaching Coleslaw how to cheat. Do I think it was like giving, oh girl, let's set up a calendar. I'll take Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I just keep them satisfied through the weekend. You like 9 to 5, I'm the weekend. Think I lose my mind every weekend. You take Wednesday, Thursday, then you send them my way. What? Think I got them covered for the weekend. What is it, y'all? Think I got it covered for the weekend. Ooh, I need to clean my brush out. But SZA, that when that song came out, girl, I was banging that song endlessly. Okay, I don't think it was none of that, but it was given. Remember when Arion called and she was like, put Martell on the phone?
Hey May, I see you got on your May outfit like you always do. I don't.
It's giving, bitch, know your place. Like, you calling here and I got my kids sitting here for dinner and my husband, like, bitch, know your place. That's what it was giving. So Destiny definitely was like putting 20 on 10. And so Martell was like, yeah, no, I don't think that, you know. And Tisha was like, yeah, right there. Yeah, that just sounds crazy. So then we get to Kimmy and Maurice. And Kimmy, she's like, oh, you know, I'm just so glad to be back. You know, it's just like, you know how to really do girls trip, you know. And this was where I had to Kimmy get into your ass a little bit, because I'm starting, like, the way we're starting to realize that Kimmy is a lot more male identified than we thought, like, it's really hurting my feelings. It's upsetting me and my homegirls, because damn, Kimmy, like, we are seeing like almost every moment, like, to say like, oh, you know, because she was like, you know, women, you know, doing a girls trip, you know, and Maurice was being sarcastic, like, oh, women being messy. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, damn, I can't recall that every trip that y'all have taken has been with the husbands. And am I not mistaken, y'all, that every single one of those trips went up to flames, went up to hell? Am I not mistaken? Marceau having to hold Maurice back. You know, we just not go with Maurice's big refrigerator bike ass. We still know that was your back in that picture that came out, Marceau. But we gonna let it slide because Tisha don't give a damn. So we don't give a damn either. But we know that was your big bike, okay? But nonetheless, like, every time the men have been there, some shit has popped off. So I just didn't like the fact that Kimmy was making it just seem like, oh, like, you know, women. I just, and then, you know, the men already think that, like, I just can't. I was just so, that Kimmy, I just hurt my heart, girl. So then they get into Tricia. Kimmy says she realized, you know, I like Tricia a lot more. And he was like, oh, really? He was like, well, you know, he was with the guys, you know, he was talking with Ken. And, you know, there's definitely some confusion of, like, you know, she's still married to him, and it's giving Ken was side dude energy. And they try to, you know, kick Ken with that side dude energy. And not a lot. We'll put side dude, like, side nigga with an asterisk next to it. We'll put an asterisk next to that one, okay? So he was like, you know, I think Tricia loves Ken more than he loves her. And Kimmy was like, don't put that out there, you know, like, don't say that for sure. And he was like, well, I mean, I don't know how else to put it. And Kimmy was like, you know, no, it's more of like, you know, when you've been married, you know, the first time, you are a lot more slow to the second time. And just like Kimmy, you know, and you, Maurice, y'all got married a while after your first divorce, if I'm not mistaken. At least for Maurice, it was a little bit quicker. But Kimmy, you know, she was by herself with Jalen for a long time. And so a lot of times you are slower to, for the smarter people, you are slower to get married the second time, you know, to try and make sure, okay, this is the right person. And so, you know, I'm glad Kimmy at least stood up for it in that regards. But She also was talking about how what else was it? How Tricia said she only went over there, one time, and Marques was like, oh, it was kind of giving more than that. So, that's really where everybody is trying to figure out. Was it one time? Did you only go in there one time? Or was this a multiple visits? Y'all was sneaky links until Tricia figured out that she was into Ken a lot more, or Martell was just giving, let's work out until he smashed type stuff. Maybe he didn't smash on the first visit, but maybe the second, or is it giving that he smashed, he dined and dashed? Okay. So I'm just gonna skip to the very last thing, because when Ken and Tricia were talking, it basically was just reiterating what was going on. And Ken basically like, I'm starting to get pissed off because, it's a reiterated conversation. Like, let's put this shit to bed, So we finally, they get to sitting down. Marquez, he come dragging in, and they start having conversation about, how this is gonna go. And Marquez is kind of feeling like, look, there's definitely been some things that have gone on between us, but we got to figure out a way to move forward, And he was like, Tricia, this is more about me and you. And at the end of the day, like, we just at least gotta acknowledge like where we are, where we've been, like, me not being around. I got this man in the house, with my kids, and he's like, do you hug my daughter? Do you put her to bed? And he was like, yeah, y'all doing things. And like Ken, his daughter is good with Tricia's daughter. Like, and as Marquez said, he's like, it sucks for me, seeing you, take my kids out the country, give my son a car, and Tricia was getting upset because she was like, you left. Like, and not only that, because she was like the first house. So she's like, you weren't there after the first house. So I don't know if she moved after a few years or after his first house, i.e. where he was just at 5 minutes around the corner, because he moved back to Atlanta. I remember he said he was in Atlanta. So Marquez is giving you around the corner, and you saw what Ken was doing, and you felt insecure and emasculated. And instead of going over there, and yet you may not have been able to provide your kids with a whole bunch of financial stuff, but as a lot of men need to learn, it's more than just, showing up financially. You can be there for your kids on a physical level, even if you can't be there financially. As Marceau said, you need to be thanking that man, because too many times stepdaddy do not come in and do the shit that Ken is doing. For real, for real. Like stepping up and being the man of the house. He bought your son a car. How many of we know that's gonna buy another man's son a car? Like, let's be real. So there is a little bit of gratitude on that part, but also I can see why Marquez's mental health is effed up, because here it is, you left and you thought Tricia was gonna be in the same mental state as you, but Tricia was like, well, on to the next. And I can't be mad at it. Like, it was given, because she was like, it was like, because he was like, remember, you always said like a man never leaves his household or whatever. I think they just were battling between like, okay, we're together and then we're not. We're together and then we're not. And anytime Marquez tried to come back and they, I guess, try to reconcile, that's when her and Ken, would put it on ice. And then that's when Marquez was like, I know, Trish, you want to sit here and act like, it was just, stuff was going wrong with us. But, did y'all ever, have interactions with each other while we were together? Did y'all have any sexual conversation? And you notice how I can't answer the question. We ain't never hooked up with each other or had any sexual interaction. We ain't never really, it was like, we never had sexual interaction, and we ain't never really talked like that. We ain't never really talked like that. Marquez peeped that you was definitely, dropping chocolate emojis. And also in the midst of a conversation where y'all was beefing with each other, Ken, definitely was throwing daggers in his face about, I think because he did an interview with Marquez, did an interview with Carlos, and he said that, Ken said something about, yeah, I'm eating chocolate, all right, or something in the DMs. So yeah, Ken and Tricia, I think Tricia, is definitely trying to keep herself from looking a certain type of way. But they gonna be on your ass at the reunion, Tricia. So I hope you got your timeline together, because they is gonna question you every which way to Sunday, okay? So then, Kim finally says, now look, like the only way this works is if all of us get good. And at one point, Tricia, she was getting heated. She was like, no, you're not telling the truth. And Kim had to be like, chill out. And she was like, no, that's not true, Marquez. Like, you were not there. Like, Tricia was getting hot. And so finally, Kim was like, look, I'm that dude. Like, if you need anything, like, you can tell the type of man I am, like, through your kids. Like, if your kids, are saying like, hey, I like this dude or whatever, like, that speaks to who I am. And so Marquez was just kind of like, look, I let's go ahead and put this shit to bed. He pull out, look, he do right here with the papers. He was like, he had him over here, I bought the papers. And I don't think Tricia was expecting him to bring the papers. So when he pull them out, he give them to her. She said, excuse me, do you have a pen? He over there sitting there boo-hooing, just like, it's just really hard for me. I ain't gonna lie, that affect my mental health. And, I just, I'm not gonna lie, I stepped away. And Ken called him out also, too, on the thing, in fact, like, me being there don't take away from you being a dad. Like, you decided not to be a dad, and that don't come with me, because regardless if a man is in the picture or not, if you really that nigga as like the dad, you showing up even like regardless. So you have to acknowledge that. And Marquez said that he overboard. He was just, what, I gotta acknowledge that as a man, And Kim was like, look, if you ever need anything, I know this ain't weird, but like really try therapy, dog. Like I did it, and then if you ever need somebody to talk to, like for real, just call me. This man was over there boo-hooing, and Tricia was just over there like. Mm-hmm. In a confessional, Tricia was like, I'm so sorry. Like, she was like, them tears do nothing for me. I done seen them tears every which way you could see them. And it's no, she was like, I'm just ready to move on, and that be it. So when Marquez is like, seeing y'all together, I don't got nobody, it's like, Marquez, you don't need nobody, bro. You need you. You need to work on you. And so they get up and walk away. I ain't gonna lie, for just the church, I did feel a little bad for him, because at the end of the day, it is an ending of a marriage. Y'all been together since high school. Like, I know that's got to be a huge transition. And then to see the woman that you thought you was gonna be able to just lay by the wayside, walk off with another man's, yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot. But then that's where the episode ended, y'all. So y'all throw down in the comments. Y'all think Ken and Trish are being honest about not having no, interactions or DMs? It go down in the DM. Okay, while her and Marquez were together, do y'all think that she was over there at Martell's house more than once? Okay. And do you think that the reason they weren't divorced was more on Marquez or Tricia? I wonder who really, really was the one holding it up. I think both of them didn't really want to do it, as much as Tricia saying like, she want to move on with Ken. I don't think she was really herself was ready to put the nail in the coffin too, because she comes from like a religious background, and she didn't even tell her sister that her and Marquez were over. So I think it was tough for her to do that too. But yeah, you guys, y'all throw in the comments, tell me what you feel about this episode. What you think about Tricia and Ken and Martell. And we're gonna see what happened next week, y'all. Appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to follow my Instagram and Twitter, and I will catch y'all hoes later. Deuces.